it's Melody again. I'm back with another process video. This is the second page to my July 2013 Project Life album. I thought it'd be kind of interesting to count how many process videos I do in 2015. So this is actually the fifth one I'm posting this year. And the video just before this will be part one of this Project Life spread. This side took 54 minutes to complete. I am using similar papers to the ones I used in the first page, but it's going to have a different look because it's a different day. So the day that I'm highlighting on this side of my Project Life page is actually going to be a trip to the zoo that I took for my birthday, but with my mom, my sisters, and then of course my son, and then my nephew as well. And in between the first and the second pages of my July 2013 Project Life pages, I do have 12 by 12 spreads, as well as a couple half-page spreads that are going to have the rest of the photos from this trip. I like to kind of mix up my album and include both of those all in there. I don't do separate albums. I scrapbook chronologically, and I include Project Life spreads on a monthly basis in there, mixed in with the 12 by 12 layouts. It's just the easiest way for me to keep track. I feel like I would have things all over the place if I tried to keep separate albums. And it just, for me, it just makes more sense to do it chronologically. So far, I have not scrapped really for that long, honestly. But so far, I have 4 completed albums, and I'm still obviously working on my 2013 photos. I'm not really going back too far in time, but I am, well, I guess I did go back probably about 6 to 8 months to before the time I started scrapbooking. I pulled photos from about 6 to 8 months before that, just so I can complete a full year 2013. 2013 is when I started scrapbooking, basically. But I wanted to have a full year of photos, and then as I go through photos, as I go through my iPhoto on my computer, as I go to my mom's house and get photos from her, or, to my in-laws' house, I am scrapbooking those and adding them to an album that I have titled Early Years, just so those things are not lost. Those stories, even though they may be kind of dim in our memories, those are stories I want to get down, because I want Kaylin to be able to go back and read these and laugh at things that we used to do as kids, that his parents did when they were kids. So it's important to me to have those. So that's why I scrapbook. And even now already, as I scrapbook pages, I share them with, my husband, with my son, with my family when they come into town. And it's just funny because even though Kaylin is only 4 years old, he gets a kick out of looking at all the pictures, which is what it's all about. So I took this label and I did journaling on it, and then I added it to the photo and I trimmed it out, and then I trimmed it too close and cut off some of the journaling I did. I did put the other half on the photo to the right of it with a little bit of journaling as well, but I have to redo this left side. It's going to be a different color, but that's fine. It's still within the same color scheme. I am using these rub-ons, these gold rub-ons, and I just used some Lily Bee Design alpha stickers just to write Grandma on there. I don't have every pocket filled with photos on this side. I definitely could have done less 12 by 12 layouts and added more photos to the pocketed pages, but I wanted to have, the stories written. I really enjoyed that trip, so I just had fun scrapbooking them. I wasn't really thinking how many pages I had. I was just thinking about, scrapbooking them. I started scrapbooking this page kind of before I started planning out Project Life pages. I plan them now as I print the photos. Before, I was just printing photos and not really doing a whole lot of planning. I was just scrapbooking photos that I liked. So now, as I go back, as I'm completing my album, I'm coming across layouts that I did months ago that go with the same event. So I'm just making sure that, I have enough to not have blank sides of page protectors. Whether it's either adding a layout or condensing a layout, possibly. Just making sure I don't have any blank spaces in my album as I go. And I know I am working on 2013. But I am working on the current day too. So eventually, at one point in time, I will have the gap of months filled in. It's kind of funny if you actually flip through my scrapbook, you'll have January through July of 2013 done, and then I believe November of 2013 is done, and then you jump right into 2014 and it starts. But eventually it will get done. I'm in no rush. Every single thing that I get done is just one more memory that's captured, one more photo that's in my album. If I don't ever finish, no big deal. It's just something that I like doing. Okay, so these rub-ons were given to me. I have no idea how old these rub-ons are, but they were awful to get off. It took me forever, and you're gonna see I am like rubbing the crap out of these these rub-ons, and eventually they do come off, but it takes some real coaxing to get them off of this piece of paper. Um, but since we were at the zoo on this trip, I am adding a couple different pet themed things on here, which primarily are these rub-ons. I've really come to love rub-ons recently. I don't really know why. I think it's just because they add something without adding bulk, and I'm all about keeping the bulk down. Like, I love using flair, I love using enamel dots and all of that, but I like to also kind of keep it at a minimum if I can, because I don't want my album to be bulging. I want it to be able to stand on a shelf nice and neat and not have 15 albums for 1 year because I have so much bulk. So I had this snap sticker sheet with the tickets on it, and it was just in the right colors. And since we were at the zoo, we had to buy tickets to get in, so it was fitting to add that to this. And you could see this photo on the left where Kalen, he's in a bright orange shirt, but he's kind of crouched down looking at these birds. Oh my goodness, he was so fascinated. This is the first time he'd ever been to the zoo, and he loved it. Actually, present day, we just went to the zoo a couple weekends ago with my family, and it was the second time he'd been to the zoo, so it's about a little over a year and a half later that he's going for the second time now. And he's just as fascinated, and I love it. His favorite book right now is one of the Smithsonian animal encyclopedias or something that my mom got him for Christmas, and it's his favorite. He loves to pull it out and look at the different animals and read the facts about those animals. So the zoo is just a really cool place to take him right now. And then there's another rub on here from the same paper, and it says checking out the animals. Again, rubbing the crap out of this thing. I've got this video sped up pretty quickly. It's took me 54 minutes to complete the layout, and this video, including all the still photos, is only 14 minutes. So I've got this sped up a pretty good amount, and you can see it still took me forever to rub the rub-on on. I'm adding a lot of enamel dots to this little card. I wanted to keep it simple because I just thought the white letters on the teal and white paper just had a really cool look. So I'm adding gray and white enamel dots, and I'm doing them in sets of 3 because it just looks weird to me sometimes to have 2. I don't follow any scrapbooking rules by any means. I just do what I think looks good to my eye, and having sets of 3 kind of in a diagonal looked good to me. I'm going to add a label to this card. Again, using those same simple stories, or the snap stickers by Simple Stories. There we go. The same teal ones that match the little ticket on the card, on the second card. I'm just adding the details, the date, the place, all the stats of our trip, so it would be documented and it'd be easy to know what it is later. And one more rub on here. It says, I love the zoo. Just trying to figure out the spacing here so it makes sense. And I'm going to kind of off-center this, so it'll be going off the edge. Please excuse my head. I like to have the camera set up and just not really think about where it is, or if I get on camera. I really don't care, honestly. As long as I'm not covering up the film so you can see it, then we're all good. though I don't always do my hair before we do these videos, so there's no telling if it's going to be a hot mess or not. All right, so that row of 3x4 cards is done. Of course, I've rounded all the corners on this, as you can see. The top row and the bottom row will be squared with the white backgrounds or the white borders, as my standard has now become, which I really like that. I don't dislike any of the other styles that I use, but I just like how clean this looks with the white border. I did replace that details sticker just to kind of bring in another red element onto this card, since I had the red heart. And that Animal Mania is actually kind of a brick, a brownish red, I guess. So it's not a true red, but it still is enough. There's still enough red on the layout to kind of make it all come together in the end. Pulling out these little tiny alphas, and okay, so I love them, but I also hate them because these things are not cut very well. First, they're not cut all the way through, and then some of them aren't cut centered either. But I like the size of them and I like the color of them, so of course I'm going to use them. I think they were like 99¢. I got them at a scrapbook expo, actually. I like little alphas. Nicole Jones, 911, showed a stamp set and die set where you can make your own little tile letters, and I so want it. Oh, I want it. I haven't bought anything yet. I don't even think I've really honestly shopped since last year. I have got a ton of stuff in my stash, and I'm just really, kind of being content with what I have, use what I have. I go to Tuesday morning periodically just to see if there's anything cool there. I don't have a budget for anything. I've never put myself on a scrapbooking budget, but I also know how much stuff I have, and I don't really need to buy a whole lot. I'm sorry I'm off screen here. I believe eventually I move it up. I'm just taking a little bit more of that gray metallic tissue paper that I used in the part 1 of this spread to make a background. This tissue paper came as packaging in a julep box that I subscribe to. They've been putting metallic tissue papers in there, and they're really cool colors. They're like bright or trendy colors, and I like having them just as another element to use in my scrapbooking. I'm going to add a little bit of journaling here. I just cut some grid paper from a 12x12, and then I rounded the corners. This is an odd sized photo. I don't know the exact dimensions of it. I want to say it may be, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe 3 inches. I have no idea. Well, whatever. It's smaller than a 3x4. That's what we'll say. But Kaylin had a bit of a fall when we were at the zoo, so I wanted to include that story because he did so good. He walked the entire time until he fell and scraped his knee. And then he wanted his pacifier and he wanted to sit in the stroller. It was the only time he got in the stroller the whole time. But I wanted to kind of document that story. So it says, "Oh no," with those stickers. I think those are from Webster's Pages, I believe. Again, using them. And you'll see, I don't know if anybody else has had this problem with those, but if you have, the ones on the left side are cut better and they are trimmed centered. The ones on the right side are not. I don't know if it was just a manufacturing issue or what the deal was. But anyways, I've completed the layout. It's got grays, teals, and just some red highlights in there as well. This completes the July 2013 Project Life spread in my album. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Bye.